guys, welcome back to another video. This is a really much anticipated video. I've been waiting to do this for well over a year now. First, I need to say this video is taking inspiration heavily from Eisien's video on Kabudachi or Clump Style Bonsai. I'll put a picture here and links in the description. The story of that was basically, it was the first video that I watched on bonsai, and it heavily links to my first bonsai tree. As you can tell from the title of the video, is this. Now the story to this is I had no idea really. I wasn't into bonsai at all. I just wanted to grow trees, to be honest with you, to plant in the village and in the garden, and sort of repopulate with native species of trees. That's why I originally got into this. So I gathered some acorns in 2020, which a lot of people will agree was a bumper year for acorns and a lot of other native trees. So I grabbed some acorns, I threw them in this pot exactly. I haven't touched it since, and then these came up last year. I'll put some pictures in now of the progress of this tree from last year, or these trees, sorry. And it's really what sparked everything, because I kept this inside. I didn't know what I was doing, so and they sprouted early, and I got a really good growing season out of these last year, and they've turned out into really good material. So now, as you can tell, they're literally just leafing out, and it's a good time to do this repot. The plan with this is going to be to put it back into this, but with some better quality soil, and obviously we're going to do the technique of tying them together at the base to try and create that clump style bonsai that we're going for. So I think that's enough talking, let's get into it. So here we are then, a first look. This tree really takes me back, you know, it really reminds me of what it was like when I first started. I even had to put a stick that said oak, just in case I forgot. And then this little medallion type thing. This is from the Japanese garden, St. Morgan. Just a trinket that I quite liked. Loosen off the pot and see if we can pull these out. So look at that, not pot bound, nice and wet. These sort of tap roots that are resting at the bottom here, these are very hard, very thick. Alright, there's two. Aha, see? So that's the acorns that I planted in 2020. Yeah, about October, November time of 2020. There's another one. Look, you can see. Oh, I love that. That's really cool. It was a really good time in my life, actually, around then. Obviously, I didn't have bonsai, so it wasn't as good as it is now. But I just remember it being a really good time. Really good time. Right, there's those two separated. Another one. Another one. We've got one that's really not that really doesn't. See how it's kind of come like that and then wrapped right around. It's proven very, very difficult to separate. So these are all from local trees just around me, which I like. Jesus, okay. As all our saplings apart. Again, look at that, look at that. It's still attached to the acorn. That's awesome. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 saplings. Quite a bit more root work to do, but once you've got to this stage, that's most of the hard work done, separating them. The Cornish sun is out today and it is quite strong, so don't forget to spray these roots. Keep them as wet as you can, really. So the advantage of having them washed off a bit is you can see that root structure that much easier. So I do recommend that you go and watch Eisien's video on this first, only because there are some differences, and if you want to do this yourself, there are bits of his advice that I have ignored. For example, he says about using small leaf deciduous species and things like that. Oak, obviously not a particularly small leaf, but the story behind it, the sentimental value of this tree, and the practice that this allows me for future trees. That's why I've continued to go with these. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim away. For example, let's do this one together. Just get an old pair of secateurs. So these are going to be tied together at the base about here. So this big, heavy, nasty taproot, I do want to keep some of it because it has the feeder roots on, but I'll cut it off here. Get rid of all that. So I'm left with something a lot more manageable, a lot smaller. I'm not going to touch any of these feeder roots. I'm going to leave them be. Next, something like this. So that this root has gone in on itself. Can you see that? The root has gone in on itself and then down. I don't suppose that's really a bad thing, but we're going to cut it off. Where are we going to cut it off to? Maybe here. Let you guys see. Cut that bit off just because it's going to go straight down. I think that leaves us with quite a bit to work with still. Next one, again, this one's funny. This one has a weird root system going on. Very strange, and there isn't loads up above. I think I'm going to have to just be brave and hope that it doesn't die. The leaves on top are very strong, so what to do with this one? I'm going to cut here and maybe like there, because we're left with some feeder roots. Look, obviously that is a really bad shape and not very good, but we're going to attach it above here anyway. All right, that's halfway. Look at this one. This one's an absolute mess. This one, I don't know what happened here. But it's very strong, obviously. So taproot under there, we can go ahead and cut that off straight away. So we're still left with, hey, that one's good. That's a good example of what the kind of thing I would suggest going for. All done. Right, this is the small one. This is the weaker out of all of them. So if I can leave this, I will. As an experiment, really, I'm going to leave that acorn attached. I think that's what that is. That might still be giving it nutrients. I don't know. Okay, so this is the smallest one. It's the weaker of all of the saplings. It still hasn't quite come out into leaf. I'm tempted to just completely leave this one alone to ensure that it survives. And then next time we do this, I'll go crazy with it. Hopefully it will give it a good chance of surviving. Right, last one. This one's very vigorous, very strong. So it's got a good root plane there. Let's go crazy. That's quite a lot of root to cut off. So you can see if you follow the path of this one, it's gone down, hit something, it's gone back on itself, and then start to wrap around the pot. So what we're left with in the end, still quite a lot of root compared to, if you watch Eisien's video, still quite a lot compared to that. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I don't have great experience with cutting roots. It's still a bit scary to me. So I'm going to start with the strongest first and create a nice base. Well, that one's very straight anyway. So we're going to start with this one, maybe this one. We'll pop that one in next to it. So you can kind of see right where this trunk line, the soil line rather, starts. That's right where we're going to bind these together. Then we've got a shorter one there. Put that on the right hand side. Sort of like this. And this is another longer one. And actually, I might try and use this weird root shape to my advantage here, and maybe see if I can, no, maybe that way. Yeah, look at that. No. I quite like that shape. And then lastly, there's a lot of root on this one. I'm still unsure whether I've made the right call there, but time will tell. So this is our general clump shape that I'm going for, like this. Where am I going to fit the shorty in? I think the shorty will go like that. So now, I was in B&M, you can always tell by the colour, B&M, and I found this. In Eisien's video, he uses sort of like a rubber tubing and then puts bonsai wire through it. I bought some of this because it just cuts out the middleman. So I'm going to reuse the same pot, only because I've grown quite fond of its purple colour, purple being my favourite colour. And it's kind of appropriate depth. It would be good, like in Eisien's video again, he uses like a pond basket style, which is good because the holes will allow for air penetration, which is going to help with growing those new roots. So what you could do in this situation, if you're reusing a pot similar to mine, is you could just poke holes in. In fact, I might give that a go in a second, just to allow air to get into the pot, which is going to be better for those new roots. Okay, that actually works better than I thought. So now we have a pot with holes in. So for soil then, guys, Eisien in his video, he uses Aoki blend, which is very good for aeration, got lots of like lava rock and things like that. I wish I had that. You know me, I don't. So on one side here, I've got some quite heavy water retention based soil that I use for most of my trees. Mixture of pumice, akadama, potting compost, sand, stones as well, just to put a bit of bigger particle size in there. But for this tree, I'm going to use a mixture of that soil that I use typically, and then I have a bag of akadama as well, just because I want to try and encourage root growth and things like that. We have some sphagnum moss. I'm going to just wrap around those roots, just to give them a better chance, I suppose, of healing. I'm not sort of paid by this company at all whatsoever, but I will put the link down to the eBay listing for these because it was actually a really good price. It takes a month or so to get to your house, but the price was right. Watered down sphagnum moss, and I'm just going to wrap it in around like that. I'm not putting all of the moss back on, just a bit. In fact, I think that'll be enough. But, you know, it's not complete until... boom. Let's get it watered. I almost forgot fertilizer. So there we have it, guys. That's my attempt at Eisien's Kabudachi Clump Style Bonsai using native oaks here in Cornwall. Please do go watch that video. I'll link it in the description down below. So now it's in some nice free draining soil with fertilizer and sphagnum moss to help it recover. We poke some holes in for some aeration to try and get this bad boy growing as best we can this year. Other than that, guys, I think that's everything I've got to say for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. Other than that, guys, wherever you are in the world, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.